The Atlanta Braves are in the Bronx to take on the New York Yankees, and old friend Max Fried, and squaring off against him is new friend Tyler Mahle. Here's your 15-minute scouting report for today's game. Yes, this is your Braves Today scouting report, a production of the Believe Podcast Network and presented to you by FanDuel. I'm Lindsey Crosby. In the next 15 minutes, we're breaking down everything you need to know before first pitch. Today, it's the Braves and the New York Yankees in the series opener, so let's get into it. We had a 80-something minute rain delay last night. There's a little bit of weather concern today, some showers and storms in the New York area. Odds of playing are better than 50%, but not much better. Right? So this game could get messed up a little bit. 7:05 scheduled start time on Braves Vision. Hopefully we get the game actually going on time. This weekend, rest of it should be fine. Game one's really the only concern here. Braves have put out their lineup for the game, and it is a different one. Ronald Acuna Jr. Leading off in right field, followed by Drake Baldwin as the designated hitter, like he normally is against lefties. Second baseman Ozzie Albies bats third. He got last night off. Matt Olson at first base batting fourth. Mauricio Dubon moves to center field, giving Michael Harris a day off, batting fifth. Lane Thomas in the lineup against a lefty, as we would expect, batting sixth. And then at the bottom, it's the guys that got to get things going, right? Austin Riley at third base, batting seventh. Sean Murphy behind the plate, batting eighth. And Ha-Sung Kim getting his first start since returning from the injured list at shortstop, batting ninth. Acuna, Baldwin, Albies, Olson, Dubon, Thomas, Riley, Murphy, and Kim. On the mound for the Braves is Tyler Mahle, the trade acquisition that they picked up. His stats on the year are underwhelming, but the indicators and the story should make you feel a little bit better. So with the Giants, 5.13 ERA, but that's with a 4.07 expected ERA and a 4.37 field and independent pitching. He struck out 22% of batters. Walk rate is at 9%. So below average, but not egregiously so. And the thing to know here is four seam, splitter, cutter, slider, sinker. That's the pitch mix for Tyler Mahle. But that is not who he typically has been. The Giants introduced some stuff, right? They introduced that sinker. They introduced the cutter. They've been a little bit more aggressive with giving him new pitches. And he's had somewhat of a run recently that has been quality outings. And it's because he's kind of backed off of the changes that they made and went to traditionally what he's always been, which has been, four seam, slider, splitter. That's kind of always been his game. So the Braves, pitching coach Jeremy Hefner talked about this with Chad Bishop at the AJC. They plan to kind of help him do what he's done best and stick with those pitches he's comfortable with. We're probably going to see less cutters tonight, probably going to see less sinkers tonight. And really the goal here is to figure out how to help him against right-handed pitching or right-handed hitting. They've really struggled. He's really struggled against righty. So that's going to be the decision thing here is, can you figure out a way to repair that? Guys to watch for in this one. First baseman Paul Goldschmidt, 29 career at-bats, 379 average, 1234 OPS, 3 career home runs. So Tyler Mahle's got to navigate all these righties, but one of the big guys is Paul Goldschmidt. He's been pretty successful off of Mahle in his career. And again, you're going to see a simplified package today. I imagine it's going to be a lot of four-seamer, splitter, cutter. I'm sorry, four-seam, splitter, slider. Probably not a ton of the cutter and sinker. On the mound, the lineup for the Yankees, Trent Grisham leading off in center field, followed by Ben Rice at DH. Heliot Ramos in left field, New trade acquisition, Luis Garcia Jr. at first base. They got guys via trade at 3 and 4 here. Jazz Chisholm at second base, batting 5th. Spencer Jones in right field, batting 6th. George Lombard Jr., one of their top prospects, called up just this week, batting 7th. Ryan McMahon at third base, batting 8th. And Austin Wells behind the plate, batting 9th. On the mound, it hurts to say this, old friend Max Fried, 4-3 with a 3.12 ERA. And the ERA is actually higher than his performance, right? Or his estimators say it should be, right? 3.12 ERA, 2.39 expected ERA, 2.46 field and independent pitching. It's been a shorter season because of injury, but when he's been on the mound, he's been one of the better starters in baseball. It is a 7-pitch mix. His top 3 pitches are all different fastballs, cutter, then sinker, then four-seamer. And the idea there is we always think of Max Fried as a curveball-based kind of guy because that's what he was early in his career in Atlanta. That is not what he is in New York. He is throwing the curveball. It's not been as effective in New York as it was in Atlanta. 27% whiff rate this year, which isn't bad, but he was at 37% his final year in Atlanta. But the curve's the 4th most used pitch. The 3 fastballs account for 60-something%. And what Max Fried is going to try to do is use the cutter early to kind of steal some strikes on the edges before he gets hitters to expand the zone when he's ahead with the curveball, with the changeup, with the sweeper. He's also, as we know Max Fried will do, he's going to get a ton of ground balls. They're going to be soft contact. And so it's going to be really hard to elevate, really hard to get extra base hits off of Max Fried. He is the guy that we thought he was. And he's the same guy, just a more diverse version of the guy that we knew he was. Against lefties, the plan here for Max Fried, it's sinker sweeper is the main kind of base here. He throws a lot of left-on-left sweepers early in the count. And like before he gets to 2 strikes, he doesn't actually throw a ton of them when he's at 2 strikes. So he's setting stuff up with that. And then obviously with the fastballs, with the sinker is the predominant fastball, but he's got the four-seamer, he's got the cutter. Most of it's the sinker. And then when he gets to 2 strikes, that's where he ramps up the four-seam usage. And the locations on that are obviously up in the zone a little bit. Righties, that's where you really kind of have to be careful. That cutter's that number 1 pitch. He throws it more when he's behind, and the sinker. Those are common adjustments. When he's ahead, that's when the changeup comes out. And so when he's ahead in the count, he's got the curveball, he's got the changeup. He's still throwing fastballs, but they're to set up everything else. So not a fun at-bat against Max Fried. He's actually been worse on the first pitch as far as like throwing strikes. He's getting behind batters a lot. I don't know how much of that is from before the injury and how much of that is after, but he's getting behind batters a lot. I will also say here, it's his 4th start since returning from a bone bruise in his pitching elbow. He's not pitched 6 innings in any of the first 3 outings. Now, the last one, he looked pretty good. He struck out 7 and 5 1/3. But if these Braves hitters can work these counts and extend the at-bats, they can likely get to the bullpen sooner rather than later. Okay. Not a lot of experience off of Max Fried on Atlanta's roster, which makes sense. He's only been off the team for a couple seasons, but both Ha-Sung Kim and Mike Yastrzemski are hitting 286 across 7 at-bats. It's kind of the biggest outstanding good results off of Max Fried. The bullpen status for both teams, yikes. Atlanta had to impromptu bullpen game, right? Whenever you have an 80-something minute rain out that bangs your starter, you end up having to go to the pen a lot. So based just on usage, Danny Young, Victor Medeiros, Brent Sugar could potentially all be down today. I don't know how aggressive Atlanta would be in bringing back Young, who wasn't effective yesterday, or Medeiros, who was effective but broke 30 pitches. It's entirely possible all 3 of these guys are down. Maybe Brent Suter is able to pitch 1 inning. They've talked about how he has a rubber arm and can go a lot. Maybe that's what they're referring to there. Maybe that'll be that. Tyler Kinley also threw but Raisel Iglesias has had 2 days off. Dylan Lee got hot yesterday to throw 2 pitches to bail out Danny Young. Thanks a lot for that. I'm sure you can use him today if you need to, but then that makes Saturday and Sunday a question. Dylan Dodd, Didier Fuentes, they threw on Wednesday. They should be good to go if you need them today. So it's easy to see. You could have Kinley, Fuentes, Dodd, Iglesias, and Lee. You have all the leverage arms you need for a lead. Question would be, if it's a blowout, who can you put in to take innings? I assume Kinley would be the guy you'd ask to eat some innings to save some leverage guys for the rest of the weekend. The Yankees are in a better situation as far as their bullpen. They had an off day yesterday. Everybody kind of got a breather. Paul Blackburn did throw 30 pitches on Wednesday. They may give him one more day, just kind of given the injury issues that he's had. But that's probably something where, like, they want to do it. They don't need to do it, right? The Yankees probably have everybody available for the opener simply because, again, they had that off day yesterday. We're going through the show surprisingly quickly, but kind of final thoughts here. The Braves left town after the rain delay last night to fly to New York. They got there very early this morning. Between that and how the pitching matchup is so lopsided, I wouldn't be shocked. I am not shocked that the Braves are an underdog on the money line. New York's minus 122 on Braves Today sponsor FanDuel. Braves are plus 114. Over under on this one is 8 runs. The key to this is going to be Atlanta's right-handed bats have to solve Max Fried, while Tyler Mahle has to keep those right-handed. He has to figure out how to keep their right-handed bats at bay, because that's been a problem for him all season. Whichever starter can kind of buck that trend is likely the one that wins. That'll do it for the Braves Today Scouting Report. If you want the deeper analysis, the lineup breakdowns, and everything behind the numbers, make sure you're subscribed to Braves Today. Enjoy the game. We'll be back after it with the postcast over on Locked On Braves. And today's 3 things are game recap over at bravestoday.com.